Hello and welcome. ChemicaSoft Flavour and Fragrance is an integrated suite of software tools for the flavour and fragrance industry. The project management module, which I will demonstrate here, is the hub for all of the pre-sales activity. It's used by the sales and technical teams to project manage all of customers' pre-sales requirements. Regardless of what time zone or location they're in, when your account manager receives a new brief from a customer, Project helps to maximise your wins by enabling deadlines and details of the requirements to be easily captured and delegated to the team for action. It enables efficient tracking of thousands of briefs across sales regions and gives instant access to project status and details. It also helps managers to check workloads, assign and prioritise tasks to the team. And your team can use the My Tasks view to focus on what they have to do instead of getting lost in hundreds of email chains and reminders. To demonstrate how the project works, I'm going to start by creating a new project for the brief that our customer has just given us. They require a fragrance. The account manager name will default. If you have different offices servicing different types of requests, it can be specified here. In this case, the type of project, we just want a sample selected from the library. We can create a name for the project. And here you can just give some background information on the brief. Most of the other information will be captured down below here. Target market is the UK. And along with the sample, we can specify what documentation is required. They need a specification and IFRA compliance statement. The due date, of course, being very important. You can specify who the project coordinator is, or it may be a default. The customer information comes next. My contact is already in the database. Of course, you can specify a different delivery address, and then we can enter the potential of the project. We have a target price that can be entered there against whichever currency has been configured. And then about application. In this case, premium soap, target dosage 2%, a base not provided by the customer, but you could enter if there are details that needs to be water soluble. This is where you can indicate which specific fragrance profiles they require. Customer requires a citrus fragrance. You can put in some more detailed notes about what profile they wish. Then how much sample of the fragrance is required. Target price and potential volume. Notification. The default is that all project members will be automatically informed. I'll click on Create. It will automatically send emails now to the parties concerned. There's a summary page of my project, which can now be tracked using this application. Our technical manager Rachel has now received notification of the new citrus fragrance brief, and she'll use Project now to assign the required tasks to our team members. This is the notification email, and Rachel simply has to click on this hyperlink, start creating and assigning tasks. In the project, you'll notice that there are 8 different tabs which enable us to easily navigate through the life of a project. The requirements tab is very useful where there are multiple flavour or fragrance profiles required. In this case, we only have one. And then to create and assign different tasks for the project, we come to Tracker. The task type is library selection, and we've assigned it to Robert to shortlist the top 3 fragrances for this application on a high priority. We click New to create an additional task for the creation of an application sample. First, we indicate which fragrance requirement this task relates to. If the requirement related to feedback that a customer has given on an earlier submission, we could select the feedback item here. And then we choose which team member to assign it to. We can view the team member's current workload by clicking here. There's either a 30-day calendar view, or we can look at just their active tasks. The task type, application sample, and I give some details about the action. Given on a high priority, and I've put a start and due date. Again, there's a notification area, and we click Create. Our perfumers Robert has now received email notification for the task that he has to complete for the citrus project. This is the My Tasks view. Team members can use it to see all active tasks that have been assigned to them across projects, and from here they can easily navigate to the details of the task or the project. To shortlist fragrances for the brief, Robert can start by searching in his product database, either a general search or he can specify a fragrance search. Search on citrus, and this will return any fragrances that are in the citrus family. On the summary screen we can see the name of the fragrance, its status, any applications that it's been profiled for, and on the far right is the ratings that it has been given. To see in detail any of the fragrances, we just hyperlink to come to the product screen, where there are 5 different tabs that store the various information points about a fragrance. There's specs tab, and then profiling an application. Here you'll see that it has already been profiled as suitable for soaps. In fact, it's highly recommended. If we want to see the details of what application tests have occurred, here we can see what category it's been tested in. If we go into here, we'll actually see the method of the test, the dose rate. Once the fragrances have been shortlisted, it's time to go back to project and enter in the product's samples to be submitted. Let's go into product submissions tab and add samples. I've already created one, let's create another one. We have to indicate which particular requirement it's for, and then search and select the lime flavour that was shortlisted. If we were using the batch functionality, we could select which batch the sample will come from and enable it to print on the labelling. If we do not want to use the original product code on the customer's label, we can generate a customer specific code, and we have two options there, which I will explain to you later. We also have the option of giving a specific name for the customer. We can indicate a recommended dose rate for the customer, and if we want to generate a quotation for the shipping documents, we can put the specifics here. Finally, we just click Create to submit that. So here are the 3 fragrances that will be submitted for this project. You'll notice that with customer codes, there are 2 different types of customer codes that can be used for labelling. One lists the product name, an acronym for the customer name, and a randomly generated number. The other alternative is that we as an organisation can specify a prefix to be used in front of a randomly generated number. Alternatively, you can use the original product code. The product submissions tab can also be used for generation of product specification, labelling, and other regulatory documentation. Just one click and it will generate your product specification, pulling from the database. Of course, the template would need to be set up with your organisation's letterhead, etc. To access other regulatory documentation, click on this icon. Our customer in particular has asked for IFRA compliance statements. We have to select what product type it's being used in this case bar soap. Can leave this blank to determine the maximum allowed dose rate. Signature can be automatic, and we have to indicate the customer and generate a PDF. Again, the template would be configured with your organisation's layout. When a team member completes a task, they need to go and change the status of the task, and in this case, the applications person then will know to get the samples from Robert and do the applications work. So change of status will automatically be notified to the team. Our fragrance application technologist Susan has received notification. I'm now logged on as Susan, and this is her My Tasks view. You can see that she's been assigned a couple of different application tasks, and we're going to click here to go through to the task for this citrus soap. Go to the application submissions tab. You'll see that Susan has already created 2 application submissions, and in the case of these particular fragrances, which have already been tested in application and given good ratings, she knows which application recipe to use. She can simply use this icon here to generate a recipe batch sheet, and later she can use this to generate the labels. In the event that the fragrances chosen had not previously been tested in this application, Susan would use the application module to conduct trials and produce an application sample. She can use either a standard trial, which means standard recipes, or we can use the new development trial feature. Once our samples are ready for submission, we go to the shipping tab to create a shipping record which will track what has been submitted, as well as enabling us to generate labels and documentation for the parcel. I've already created a shipping record. We're just going to edit it to demonstrate how this works. I've indicated the freight mode and the dispatch date, expected delivery date. When we get to the sample submission area, the list of samples that have been submitted by the perfumist would be showing now in a drop-down menu that we just have to select from. I've already selected one and indicate the quantity per unit, how many units have been selected. Then we get to the application sample submission area, very similar idea. And we're going to give them 2 bars of soap for each of the application samples. The summary screen now shows the samples being submitted and the application samples being submitted. To generate shipping labels and documents, we click on this icon here. Let's show how to generate a customer address label. Just click to generate PDF and it's ready to print. And by selecting this template, we can create a covering letter that gives all of the details of the samples enclosed. Here's our letter, showing the list of samples. Our customer has received the parcel and tried the soap application samples. So our account manager can now follow up with the customer to elicit their feedback and to progress the project. The account manager then goes to My Projects to enter the feedback against the project. You can see here this status of this project is showing as awaiting feedback, and they simply go to the Feedback tab and create a new feedback record. Ideally, feedback should be recorded on each of the products that have been evaluated by the customer so that we can build up a knowledge base of how the market receives our products. We enter some feedback and we enter the customer's rating. In this case, it's an above average rating. It's not a win and no order received. We'll create another record to record the feedback on the other product, which in this case was a win. There's actually no action required in this case. Highly recommended. It's a technical win and order not yet received. But now I'll demonstrate how we enter feedback where the customer requires some modification and resubmission. I've just edited the earlier feedback item and said that it's well received but customization of the fragrance is required. We then check the box, say action is required. I've entered the action and the due date, changed the market rating and updated. This will auto notify the project coordinator and trigger her to assign the appropriate tasks. The project is again active because an action feedback has been entered by the account manager. By streamlining the communication of customer requirements, including their feedback when they require some modification, your project really helps your team to speed up delivery of what the customer requires. And this can be the critical difference required to increase your win rate as well as increasing the efficiency of your team. Project is a powerful tool for managers to control and keep track of pre-sales activity. Its reporting tool provides easy access to project statistics which help managers monitor the workload and the performance of both sales and technical teams. It also enables you to track customer evaluation and adoption of your products. On this screen you can choose the period that you want to review and you can specify a region or a product category or a team member. Or you can view statistics like the potential value of projects in hand. Or you can look at the workload of your team in terms of the number of customers they're handling, number of projects, number of tasks. There are statistics on project wins. For example, the percentage of submissions that are converted to wins. The project module is tightly integrated with other ChemicaSoft flavor and fragrance modules for fast sample selection, efficient product and application development, regulatory compliance checking, and the generation of required documents, labels, etc. ChemicaSoft also handles manufacturing, stock management and batch tracking.